There's a report that the CIA believes that Mr. Putin's war is based on the assumption that the West will give up interest, that the West has some sort of attention deficit disorder and cannot maintain an interest for any long period of time. Certainly, our obsession with the Conservative Party election suggests that we can easily be distracted by something quite minor. And that is also, I mean, when you look at the reasons for Mr. Putin's attack in the first place, they are extraordinarily vapid. The three N's, Nazis, nukes, and NATO. Well, the Nazis, there were fascists in the Donbass, but they've been there a while, number one. Number two, they were fairly insignificant. Actually, Mr. Putin's war made them more significant. Nuclear weapons, well, that's something that Mr. Putin has threatened. Of course, Nazis, nukes, and NATO play well with the domestic audience. And they create an atmosphere of fear, which is probably what he's more interested in. There are stories that not only has he put out this atmosphere of fear, but that he is frightened himself. He's now looking for an escape route, possibly to Iran. NATO didn't really represent a threat. NATO is a defensive organization. Was NATO edging towards Moscow? Towards Russia? Not particularly, but Mr. Putin's aggression has certainly ensured that NATO is now on Russia's doorstep. Not necessarily in Ukraine, but in Scandinavia. That is Mr. Putin's doing. So one has to ask, why did the war take place? And one also has to ask, how do we maintain an interest in the war? How do we maintain support for the war when other things are going on and the natural disposition of our media is to find the next sensational event? But we must support Mr. Zelensky. We must support that effort.